Welcome to Social Media Trainwrecks, the Friday show where Clark Edwards and I roll up on the week's biggest brand disaster and pick through the smoking wreckage. I'm Giovanni Gallucci. We find the dumb decision, the post that poured gas on the fire, and the one move that would have saved them. Clark, what are we gawking at this week?
Gio, this one's a heavyweight. Sony, PlayStation. They picked a fight with their own most loyal customers, then did the one thing you're not supposed to do when the mob shows up. They turned off the lights and hid in the back.
I've been waiting all week for this one. A giant brand, a self-inflicted wound, and a disappearing act. That's a full-course meal. Pull us up to the crash site.
So here's the wreck. Wednesday, July 1st, Sony posts on the PlayStation blog that starting January 2028, they're killing physical disc production for all new games. Digital only from here on out.
And right there in the announcement is the first mistake, and it's a doozy. A senior Sony director says the move is a, quote, response to shifting trends in consumer preference. Consumer preference. They're telling the customer, you asked for this.
Did the customer ask for this?
Their own numbers say no. The tracking data the team pulled had 82% of PS5 consoles sold as the versions with a disk drive. 82%. People paid extra to keep the disk slot.
So the buyers wanted the opposite of what Sony says they wanted.
Exactly. Sony looks its most loyal customers in the eye and says you prefer digital, while those same customers are voting with their wallets for the other thing. That's the first bonehead move.
Why does that one land so hard?
Because it's gaslighting with a press release. When you dress up a cost-cutting decision as a gift the customer wanted, you insult everybody's intelligence on the way out. Discs cost money to press, ship, and warehouse. That's the real reason. Just say that.
Instead of pretending it's for the fans.
Right. The second you pretend it's about what the fan wants, you turn a business decision into a lie. And audiences smell a lie faster than they smell a bad product.
Now, to be fair, isn't most game buying already digital?
It is, and that's the honest nuance. Another retailer's data had around 85% of game purchases going digital. The trend is real.
So Sony wasn't even wrong about where things are headed.
Not about the direction, no. But watch what they did. They had a true story sitting right there. The world's moving to downloads and we're moving with it. And they reached past it for the insulting version that blames the customer.
Why would anybody pick the insulting version?
Somebody thought it sounded warmer to say the customer chose this. Here's the rule. When the truth and the flattering spin point different directions, pick the truth every time. The spin is what gets you roasted.
Okay, but you said self-inflicted. Was there more than the one post?
This is where it goes from a bad day to a bad month. Timing, Clark. Same stretch as the disc news. Sony tells users in the UK and Europe that on September 1st they're deleting 551 movies people already paid for. Terminator 2, John Wick, Paddington. Gone, no refund because a licensing deal lapsed.
Wait, they're taking back movies people bought?
Movies people thought they bought. And it lands the same week Rockstar says the next Grand Theft Auto is digital only too.
So that's 3 at once.
3 ownership gut punches stacked in one news cycle, all pointing at the same nerve. You don't really own anything you buy from us. That's the story Sony told this week, over and over, in 3 different aisles of the same store.
And retailers weren't thrilled either, I saw.
Shops that live on physical games, the game chain, CEX, GameStop, got told their shelves have an expiration date. One of them put out a line about not sitting idly by. But here's the thing for our purposes. The retailer anger is a business problem Sony can manage with contracts and time. The customer anger is a brand problem, and brand damage doesn't renegotiate.
So grade the response. What did Sony actually do once the internet turned on them?
They went dark, fully dark. Their X account, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, all of it just stopped. 24 hours and counting of nothing while the fire raged.
Is going quiet automatically a fail? I feel like you've told me silence can be the right move.
Great question, and it's the whole lesson of the episode. Silence is a legitimate crisis tool. Sometimes the smartest thing a brand can do is shut up and let a story burn itself out, because talking just feeds it.
So when does silence stop working?
It only works under one condition. The room has to be empty. If nobody's actively filling the vacuum, going quiet lets the temperature drop. The second somebody else starts narrating your story for you, Silence stops being patience and turns into surrender.
And I'm guessing the room wasn't empty.
The room was a circus. While Sony's holding its breath, Domino's over in the UK posts a fake breaking news bit saying they're going all digital too, only serving digital pizzas next year. KFC's Spanish account runs the old, "You wouldn't download a car" piracy parody.
Those are just jokes, though. Does that really hurt?
The jokes are the warm-up. Here's the killer. Sony's own competitor Xbox announces the same day they're working on a feature to let players turn their physical games into owned digital copies.
So Xbox basically ran an ad inside Sony's funeral.
That's exactly it. Xbox looked at Sony taking ownership away and said, "Cool, we'll hand ownership back." And they did it while Sony was too busy hiding to answer.
So what's the grade?
An F. And it's not for staying quiet. It's for staying quiet while the whole industry redecorated the room. You don't just lose the argument, you let your rival write the counter-argument and staple it to your bad news.
What should they've done instead? Fire off some defensive statement?
Not defensive, but present. You need a human, unfussy post that does two things fast. First, tell the truth you skipped in the announcement. The industry's moving digital, so are we. Here's what stays playable, here's what you keep.
And the second thing?
Address the ownership fear head on, because that's the real wound, not the discs. People aren't crying over plastic. They're scared the stuff they paid for can vanish. Speak to the fear, not the format.
And they had proof they could calm people down, right? You said they've been here before.
They have, and this is the part that stings. Back in 2023, Sony tried to yank a bunch of purchased Discovery shows off people's libraries. Massive backlash, and they backed down in extended access.
So they already knew how this movie ends.
They'd run this exact play and learned customers will fight for what they think they own. Then this week, they walked right back into the same buzzsaw and said nothing. Forgetting your own crisis history is how you repeat it.
All right, the part people can actually use. How does any brand not end up here?
3 moves, and none of them require a billion-dollar console business. First one, the Go Dark decision tree. Before you choose silence in a crisis, ask one question. Is anyone else filling the vacuum right now?
And if the answer's no?
Then silence is fine, let it cool. But if the answer is yes, competitors are talking, press is talking, a hashtag's forming, then silence is just you handing them the microphone. Sony skipped that question and got narrated into the ground.
So who makes that call? And how fast?
One person with judgment, watching the room in real time, not a committee scheduling a meeting for Thursday. The whole value of the decision is speed. By the time a committee agrees to say something, Domino's already has 40,000 shares making fun of you.
That's one. Give me 2.
Don't gaslight the audience, ever. When you're delivering bad news, name the real reason, even if it's boring. We're saving money. The market changed. We had to make a call.
People will actually accept that?
People forgive a brand for an unpopular decision honestly explained. They don't forgive a brand for telling them they wanted the thing being done to them. The fastest way to turn a policy change into a betrayal is to insist the victim asked for it.
How does that land for a little brand that'll never delete anybody's movie library?
Every brand has a version of this. You raise prices, you kill a beloved product, you change a policy people liked. The temptation is always to spin it as good news. We're so excited to announce.
And you're saying don't.
Don't. Say the real thing plainly. Your audience can handle a hard truth. What they can't handle is being told the knife in their back is a gift.
And the third?
Protect the emotional core of your brand and know what it actually is. For PlayStation, the core was never the plastic disc. It's the feeling that your collection is yours, that the thing you paid for stays yours.
And Sony hit that on purpose?
They spent 1 week attacking that exact feeling from 3 directions: discs, movies, the next big game, and torched years of goodwill doing it.
How does a normal business even find its version of that core?
Ask what your best customers would grieve if you took it away. Not the feature they use most, the thing they'd feel betrayed to lose. For a restaurant, it might be a recipe. For a software company, it's the workflow people built their day around.
So you just never touch it.
That's your sacred ground. You can change almost anything else, but the day you touch the sacred thing, you'd better lead with humility and a whole lot of listening, not a press release that says you're welcome.
And the calendar thing, sequencing, that was real here.
Pure comms discipline. 3 bad news items about ownership in 1 week is a choice somebody made, or failed to make. You never stack your gut punches. Space them out, let each one land and settle before the next. so the audience never connects them into one ugly pattern. Sony let all three collide, and the collision is what turned three stories into a movement.
So the stormproofing in one line.
Before you go silent, check if anyone's filling the room, tell the truth even when it's ugly, and guard the one thing your customers would never forgive you for taking. Do those three, and you don't end up as the Friday show's main event. That's the wreck. Sony had a defensible business decision and buried it under a lie, a fire sale on trust, and a disappearing act, while the competition served drinks. I'm Giovanni Gallucci.
And I'm Clark Edwards. If your brand's ever tempted to tell people they wanted the thing you're doing to them, call Geo first.
We'll be back next Friday with another one. Somebody always obliges. Keep your hand off the post button when the building's on fire.